As some of you probably know, around 10 months ago I decided to stop living off hand-me-downs and old Athlon 2800 pluses and actually buy a brand new PC, and you can see a video all about that right here. This is how this channel started, or restarted, and today, 10 or so months on, it's time for an upgrade. What have we got? Let's find out. So two things we're doing today. Firstly, we're going to review and unbox. This is the GeForce GTX 960. It's the Strix from Asus. Asus, if you like to pronounce it that way. So we're going to be opening this up, taking a look at it, and also doing some benchmarks to compare my current graphics card, which is the MSI GTX 660. As some of you probably be aware as well from the original unboxing video, the computer I bought only comes with 8 gigs of RAM, which was fine. It's seen me through, it's done great so far. We've had a good laugh, I think, over the last 10 months or whatever it is, and games have been playing fine and stuff like that. But for a little bit more future proofing, and also to help with the latest games and also with video editing side of things and stuff like that, we've also got another 8 gigs of RAM to add into the computer. So what we're going to do today, three things. We're going to just unbox this graphics card, take a look at that. There's not really a lot of point in unboxing this because it's basically just some standard Corsair, 8 gigs of RAM. It's the XMS3 DDR3 for anyone who's interested. It costs around £90. Nothing too exciting, so there's not really a lot of point in unboxing that, but what we will do is we'll unbox this, take a look at what's inside it. Once we've done that, we'll run some benchmarks on the old graphics card to get some baselines. We're going to use Heaven Bench today because I used the other thing last time and it wasn't very good. So we'll do some benchmarking in Heaven Bench, run a few games, get some base FPSs from the old graphics card so we know what we started with. Then what we'll do is we'll shut it all down, get this installed, but we won't upgrade the RAM for straight away. We'll just install this graphics card. Then we'll do the benchmarks again so we can actually see some differences between the old graphics card and the new one, see how much better this performs. Then we'll stick in the RAM, and then we'll have another quick go on Heaven Bench just to see if that makes any difference at all. Probably won't do because RAM doesn't really have a lot to do with graphics these days, but you know, it'd be just to make it a fair test. We won't stick this in until we've obviously done this first, and then we'll stick that in later. So let's get into the box itself. It's quite a nice box actually. I like the kind of crazy reflection you get off the eyes and stuff like that. So I've always thought that NVIDIA's boxes tend to be quite nicely designed, especially the ones from Asus. They tend to make really cool looking boxes and stuff like that. They also tend to give some nice little goodies inside. So if I can ever get this plastic label off. There we go, we're in. Let's get this thing unboxed. Right, slide this out. As we can see, it's quite a nice packaging, as I mentioned. Put that there. Quite a nice little black box actually, with the Asus there printed on in gold. We'll just spin this around. We'll try and figure out how to get into the thing. There we go. Flip that open. Aha! So what have we got inside? Well, first thing, no messing around, in a nice anti-static bag is the card itself, which we will come on to last, of course, because we want to take a look around it and all that sort of good thing. I need to get myself grounded. Inside the box we've got this rather nice black pad foam thing, which is nice because it didn't make a squeaky noise when it was coming out of the box. And of course we've got your usual DVI to VGA converter for those of us who are inexplicably still using VGA monitors. If you are, get a life. Not too much in the box actually. We've got a nice sticker. There's always like a sticker or something, so there's a Strix sticker. Might stick that on somewhere if I want to bling my computer up, I suppose. And also we've got the manual, pretty standard stuff, and the CD for installing the basic drivers, I suppose, and the overclocking tools. But anyone who's sensible and has an internet connection will get that off the website for the latest versions. Now we've got that out of the way, it's time to look at the card itself. Very nice design indeed, in my opinion. This is the DirectC U2 cooler. It's black, sort of matte black with a nice red trim on it. The fans have also got a nice look on it as well. The nice thing about the design of this card is it's all fully shielded and plated, so you don't have to touch the circuit board, easy to handle. Nice big cooler and heatsink on it. On the back of the card we've got triple DisplayPort out, which is useful for triple monitor setups if you want to use DisplayPort, and also we've got a DVI output, which as mentioned before you can use a converter to get your VGA out from there. We've also got HDMI port out as well, so we have connectivity for HDMI. So I'm going to kick things off with the old graphics card, the 660, using Bench, and we're just going to take a look at some of the settings we're going to be using, just so we make sure we keep this nice and safe. Come on, focus. That's not focusing, but anyway, basically we're going to be running in DirectX 11, and we're going to have it on stereo 3D. Is obviously going to be disabled. High shaders, tessellation we're going to put to extreme. We're going to set everything to max basically, so anisotropy, not even sure how you pronounce that, we'll set that to 16. We'll do some 8x anti-aliasing, and we're going to be running at 1080p. Okay, so the benchmark is now completed on the 660. We got an average FPS there of 33.2 and a score of 835. The lowest the frame rate dropped to was 1.9 and the maximum was 80.8. So that's quite curious. So let's see what we can achieve now by swapping out the graphics card. So the new graphics card is finally installed after a little bit of titting around, as it were. A couple of issues have come to light while installing this. The first one is that the card is a little bit wider than the 660, so it was a little bit tricky to get the power cable in. There's a little power indicator there on the actual card, which is a little bit weird, but fair enough. The back of the card we have problems as well, because there's only one HDMI port and one DVI port. There's 3 display ports, but none of my monitors are using DisplayPort, so I've only got these 2 working at the moment. The side one, which is a DVI connection, I'm going to have to go and find some sort of solution to that tomorrow, either some kind of DisplayPort to HDMI or DVI converter, something like that. So that's a little bit disappointing. That's probably going to set me back another 10-20 quid. So as you can see, the same settings but now with a new graphics card, and we're going to run this. So as you can see over here, this is the pre-overclock scores, an FPS of 46.5 and a score of 1171, a minimum FPS of 25 and a maximum of 109, so that's already miles better than the 660 was. What I've done since then though is I've done a little bit of overclocking. So as you can see here, I've got higher clock and memory than stock. What you do to overclock is you use a tool like this. This is MSI Afterburner, but you can get other ones which are very similar, such as Asus GPU Tweak. What you do is you pull the core clock up by about 10 and then save and then test, and then keep doing that until you get a point where it either crashes or gets glitchy, and then you just dial it back a little bit so it's stable again. And then do the same for the memory clock, so just dial it up by about 10 megahertz. Just keep doing that until again you hit some glitches or whatever, and then dial it back a little bit. I've actually got a really good overclock out of this card, so as you can see on GPU-Z over here, the default clock would be 1228. I've got it up to 1358. The memory clock I've got up from 1800 megahertz to 2060 megahertz, so that's pretty decent. And also the boost clock is improved as well. 1291 is the stock and 1421 is what we have, so not too bad at all. So we're just going to run Bench one more time and see if we get a better score. So finally, as you can see in Bench, the final overclock scores plus with the 16 gigs of RAM added in, we get a final score of 49.2. Sorry, that's the FPS, 49.2. Scores 1239, min FPS of 25.5 and a max FPS of 116.4. So yeah, much improved over the original setup, so not too bad, not a bad little upgrade. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Ta-ra!